Hi there, this is a follow-up to my previous video on realism and international relations. This time I'll be providing a few historical examples for some of the concepts that I mentioned then. I will briefly discuss national interest, balance of power, and the closely related Thucydides trap. I'm going to aim for 3 minutes or close enough to it. So let's go. Machiavelli's idea of the national interest was revolutionary at the time, but it's pretty self-explanatory now. Different states have different interests and they will compete to further their own goals. One good example of this is the First Opium War between China and the United Kingdom. The UK was a maritime trading empire, so had an interest in global free trade. It also had a huge trade deficit with China because Britain had this massive market for Chinese teas and silks. The UK's preferred method of dealing with this deficit would be free trade, and in particular the trade of opium from India to China to make up the trade deficit. However, the Chinese were against mass opium trading for obvious reasons, and also had a general isolationist approach to trade that was anathema to the European powers but was quite common in the large Asian nations. So the UK wanted free trade and opium trading, while China wanted to trade only on its own terms. This is clearly an example of two incompatible national interests. These competing interests caused a spiral of aggressive diplomacy and espionage, which eventually led to war, in which the UK imposed the interests of the colonial powers onto China. Next is balance of power strategies. This term suggests a stable balance, but actually that's rarely the case. While the Cold War is often used as an example of two powers cancelling each other out, the historical reality has more often been a wildly unstable seesaw. States will form alliances and take action to either balance against an emerging threat or bandwagon by joining with this threat. This is just raw power politics where countries switch sides to prevent anyone else from gaining complete domination. A really sharp example of this is France's action during the 30 Years' War. France was Catholic, and in a war purportedly about religion, it should have sided with the Catholic Habsburgs in Spain and Austria. However, if the Habsburgs had won, then France would have been surrounded on all sides by powerful rivals. Catholic rivals, but rivals nonetheless. So for this reason, France actually supported the Protestants in Holland, Germany and Sweden. This is a great example of power politics overriding ideology. Finally, we can discuss the closely related Thucydides trap, which is a specific type of great power rivalry. This refers to the tendency for war to break out between a rising power and a declining power, like Athens and Sparta. The Belfer Centre's Thucydides trap project has found 16 historical cases where a major rising power has threatened to displace another great power. 12 of these 16 rivalries ended in war. The Sweden versus Habsburg rivalry was a partial cause of the 30 Years' War, while the rise of Germany against the UK arguably caused World War I. In World War I, we had France and the other allied nations attempting to balance against Germany by joining with the UK, while Austria and the other Central Powers tried to bandwagon by joining with Germany. However, while the rise of the US in the early 20th century came close to causing a war with the UK, this conflict was averted, showing that this is not an inevitable outcome. There's been lots of speculation, of course, about the next potential Thucydides trap, with China's growing power relative to the US being most closely watched. Okay, I hope that was useful. Please like, share, subscribe, and in particular let me know if there's anything else you would like me to discuss further. Thanks for watching.